Hello and welcome to Steinsgate episode 29. Where we last left off, essentially what I did is I beat one of the first routes of the game, found out what route I was on Suzuha's. And the reason for that is because I didn't realize I had the choice of sending a D-mail or not. So in order to do that, I had to do a couple of saves. So real quick, basically save number 2 is going to be the true route, or like the Kirisu flags or whatever. I did some research. Each character gets their own finish. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump back to where we had the decision of sending the D-mail to let Suzuha essentially die, but acquiring the IBN 5100. Maybe. I don't know exactly. We'll find out. So with that being said, if you like videos like this and want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am committed to completing this game. Not 100%, but at least each route. And going from there. So without further ado, let's jump back into it. I also haven't done any of the mails and any of these saves. I just skipped through it to go through faster. So I didn't actually play for 31 minutes. I just skipped, and it took me 31 minutes to get to this point. Yeah, so the context is we're deciding to either go back in time or not send the D-mail, time leap or D-mail, and we're choosing D-mail now, and we're gonna lose all our memories with Suzuha. At least I will, or no, they will and I won't. So without further ado, we are sending it. Memories flash through my head. And that's right, Daru is the father. She only lives to 44. Suzuha, I've made my choice. I won't ask for your forgiveness. Ultimately, I'm doing this to save Mayuri. But at the same time, the words you spoke on that rooftop are still strong in my heart. You entrusted to me your hope for the future. If I'm to honor that wish and fulfill mine, then that time we spend together can never have happened. So now I need to pay attention to make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't miss the D-mail opportunities. And I think that's the rest of the stories. Is there's going to be D-mail choice, no D-mail choice, and then one more full route of actual play that I have to do and pay attention to get the true ending, I believe. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save chapter 3. I got to be careful not to save chapter 2, but in case I do, I have this as a backup right now. The world shatters into geometric shapes that expand and contract like rubber toys. Light gathers between my eyes. Stars explode behind my eyelids. Gradually, color returns to the world. I wait for the vertigo to pass. So now, instead of basically what would have happened is we ultimately repeat 2 days over and over until Suzuha catches on, and then we go back in time with her, and then I guess live a happily ever after or something like that. Now I have no idea what happens. So I didn't spoil myself or anything if that's what people are worried about. Cold sweat oozes from my temples. I just know that there's a Kirisu route, a true route, Daru, Mocha, Luca, Barris. Yeah, so that's 6. Pressing my fists against them, I slowly force the air out of my lungs. Has the world line changed? I head to the lounge in order to check the divergence meter. Oh. I checked the meter a few minutes ago just before the world line changed. Now it's nowhere to be found, because she never gave it to us. I quickly realized what has happened. Suzuha gave me the meter after we stopped her from leaving. My D-mail undid those events. Of course the meter isn't here. A surge of regret seizes my heart. I clench my teeth and endure it as best as I can, but we saw it went from point 33 to point 44. If nobody else remembers, then I alone will keep these memories of Suzuha alive. I look around the room. Mayuri and Kirisu are on the sofa, dozing off each other's shoulders. Daru, oblivious to the vulnerable high school girls behind him, is playing an eroge on his computer. I take a deep breath and turn on the TV. I flip to a news channel. The world line should have changed. I erased the time we spent with Suzuha. That should have allowed her to leap to 1975 without losing her memories, and the IBM 5100 should be in our hands now. We can use it to hack and discern and erase the data they intercepted from us. Without that information, Mocha's men won't attack the lab. Mayuri won't have to die. That's how it should be. That's how it has to be. Otherwise, why did I sacrifice Suzuha's dream? The quickest way to confirm the changes would be to check for any delays at Akihabara Station.
Daru, Yamanote Sen wa tomatte iru ka?
はいや止まってないんじゃね。
ネットで調べてくれ。
今いいところなのに。
頼む。
Daru sighs, pulls up Taboo's front page and looks at train information.
やっぱ止まってないみたいだお。
ありがと
う。Organization. The world line has changed, which means that our IBM 5100 should be in the development room. There it is. I head back there to search for it. But contrary to my oh, never mind. Expectations, I can't find it anywhere. What's going on? I look at my watch. It's 7:43 p.m. Mocha's men attack at what time again? I think it's 6:30 if I remember correctly, or 7:30. My heart is pounding like a drum. That D-mail was supposed to fix everything. The trains are moving as scheduled, which means that Mocha's men aren't about to attack. So why does it feel like nothing's fixed at all? The IBM 5100's absence is extremely disturbing. So we never did those 2 fun loops or anything. So the point that we were at is right after we read the letter of what happened to Suzuha. And then we quickly go into the room and then make our decision to time leap. I believe, if I remember correctly, that's what happened. Sorry, it's been like since Monday or Tuesday, because then I had to do research and figure out what to do, and then I had to do some other stuff. I want to sit down and think about where it could have gone, but a voice in my head is screaming that there's no time. I need to calm down. It's hard to think straight after everything that's happened. I check my watch again, 7:46 p.m. Images from the assault flash through my mind. The assault. Mayuri bleeding to death on the floor. The smell of gunpowder in the air. I frantically shake the visions out of my head. I look toward the lab entrance. The door has yet to be kicked in by a team of hitmen. But her getting hit by a train, her getting stabbed, her being ran over, those events still quote-unquote happened in our memory. I swallow hard, petrified with terror. Please don't let anything happen. It's past 9. I peek at the street through the window. Nobody's there.
オカリン、誰か待ってんの？さっきからやたら下を気にしてっけど。
Also, I was tempted. I have not watched the anime. I'm still committed on finishing the visual novel, and then after that, I'm gonna watch the anime and give a review on it. Daru's right. I've probably looked out the window 20 times in the past hour, and not a suspicious figure in sight. Mocha's men still haven't appeared. The raid was before 8 if I remember correctly. I think it's safe to say that my changes to the past have prevented it from occurring. Suzuha's sacrifice was not in vain. I let out a deep breath. I'm sweaty and disgusting. It's like my anxiety has pushed all the sweat out of my body.
Mayuri, それにクリス。
The 2 girls woke up from their nap about half an hour ago. Now they're eating cup noodles.
今あんた、私の名前、普通に呼んだ？
Kurusu looks at me in astonishment like she can't believe her ears.
2人とも食事が終わったら帰るんだ。もう遅いから送っていく。
そうする。別に岡部なんかに送ってもらわなくても一人で帰れるんだけど。
いいから。誰も支度しておけ。
え？
He gets an escort? The train lines running through Akihabara are operating normally. There's no bomb scare, no sign of Mocha or her men. Yeah, we got all these unopened mails, essentially. But I haven't sent many either. Or maybe I did. Yeah, I don't know. Time travel, man. It's crazy. The train lines running through Akihabara operating normally. There's no bomb scare and no sign of Mocha or her men. Kusu's taking the Soba line to the next station, Ochan no Mizu, while Daru's going the opposite way to Shinkoya. Or something like that. Mayuri and I are taking the Yamato line to Ikebukuro, so we part at the station's ticket gate. There are surprisingly few passengers on the train. I guess most of the businessmen are off the Oben holiday. Mayuri's playing a handheld game, the Rainet Kakeru action RPG. On the screen, her character is battling a gigantic Upa. I stand beside her and gaze at her profile, lost in thought. It's the night of the 13th and Mayuri's still alive. How many times have I watched her die? How many times have I tasted that despair? No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't save this ditzy childhood friend of mine from death. She died again and again right before my eyes. But now she's alive, standing by my side playing a game. This is why I sacrificed our memories with Suzuha. It was the only way. I'm sorry, Suzuha. And thank you. Suzuha no longer exists in this time, but I hope my feelings will reach her all the same. Actually, come to think of it, why can't I tell her in person? Where in Akiba could the 50-year-old Suzuha be? I'll try asking Tenoji tomorrow. He probably knows Suzuha on this world line too, because she was the building owner. I wonder if Suzuha remembers me. Mary suddenly lifts her head. She looks at me hesitantly. Her cheeks are slightly pink. Huh. It's not our fault. I apologize, but keep looking at her. Instead of starting a new game, Mary looks at me with concern. I remind myself that Mayuri is more perceptive than she seems. She proved that when she figured out that Daru was Suzuha's father. I don't want to worry her too much. I want Mayuri to smile her usual ditzy smile without a care in the world. After all, it's all over. She's safe.
俺は何も変わってはいない。今もお前の顔を見ていたのではなく、いかに世界に混沌をもたらすかを考えていたのだ。
Fake it till we make it.
本当に無理してない？
この狂気のマッドサイエンティストに無理なことなど一つもない。常に IQ170 を誇る灰色の脳細胞が完璧な計算を叩き出しているのだからな。
そっか。でもね、たまにはボケーって休むことも必要なんだよ。そのことをね、忘れないでね、オカリ。
Having said that, Mayuri returns to her game. I feel cold stares all around me, but I don't care at all. Mayuri's here by my side doing everything Mayuri things, ordinary things. Everything is going back to normal. And then Mocha appears. Here's my stop, or my entrance. So we finally made it past the dreaded 13th day. Yesterday was my first time home in a while, so I slept like a log in my comfortable bed. It could be because of my mental exhaustion, but that was my best night's sleep in a while. Before heading up to the lab, I stop and stare at the Brontube workshop. The familiar mountain bike is gone. Suzuha liked it so much she insisted on bringing it with her to 1975. And then it's her instead of Mr. Brontube. The workshop door opens and comes out Mr. Braun, rubbing his eyes sleepily. Never mind.
お岡部、おめえずいぶん暇そうだな。うちでバイトしねえか。今なら特別に月給ブラウン管1台で雇ってやる。
1 CRT a month? 1 CRT a month? So for 1 month's work I get an old television? Hell no.
鈴葉はいつ頃辞めたんでしたっけ？
鈴葉？誰だそいつは。
Huh? Was her existence erased completely? But that's impossible.
たった10日ばかりで辞めてくようなゆとりバイトの名前なんざとっくに忘れちまったぜ。
Hmm.
俺紛らわしい言い方を。
So Susaha did work here. The fact that the evidence of Susaha's sojourn in 2010 still remains in this world's line.
せっかく俺が楽できると思ったのによ。だから嫌なんだ。最近の若いのは根性なしもいいところだぜ。どうせ面接の時に言ってたブラウン管が好きってのも嘘だったんだろうよ。まんまと騙されちまった。
Hook, line, and sinker, Inoji shrugs his shoulders annoyed. Naturally, he doesn't know about Susaha's true identity.
橋田鈴という人を知っていますか？
At this, Tenoji's eyes go wide.
懐かしい名前だな。おめえ知り合いだったのか？
Knew her?
その人は今は
もうかれこれ10年になるか。
Oh no. 10 years? 10 years since what? No. I don't want to know the answer. Tenoji has a faraway look in his eyes as if he's gazing into the past.
あの人には随分世話になった。
Why are you talking about her in the past tense?
天涯孤独だったらしくてな。せめて俺が見とってやりたかったんだが。
At the end, there's only one thing that can mean. Even though the world line changed, Susaha didn't survive to the year 2010.
でもま、こう言っちゃなんだが、死に顔は穏やかだったよ。
穏やか。自殺じゃないのか？
自殺？おめえそれ誰から吹き込まれたんだよ。すずさんは病気で亡くなった。
Hmm.
根も葉もねえ話を信じてんじゃねえ。
She was sick. Sickness killed her? I shouldn't feel good about that. But I guess you could say it's better than what happened before the world line change. That's what I tell myself anyway.
で、おめえとすずさんはどういう知り合いだったんだ？
昔俺も世話になったんです。もう一度会いたいって思っていたのに。
そうか。あの人が住んでた家は今は俺が使ってんだ。位牌もそこにある。なんだ、
Wow.
手を合わせに来るか？
I nod without a moment's hesitation. That's sweet. We get to see her all grown up, I guess. Tenoji closes up shop and we head off towards his house. From Chudori, we head toward the station. I scan the Akiba scenery as we walk. Moe stores are still nowhere to be found on this world line. Darn. After a little hesitation, I look up at Radikan. It's all gone. The satellite has vanished. All that's left is the hole it made when it arrived in this time.
例の人工衛星いつ消えたんでしたっけ？
ああ、5日前ぐらいじゃなかったか？世の中、奇妙なことが起きるもんだな。
Hmm. Which means Suzaha left before it rained. Like Tenoji said, his house is closer than expected. So she left basically crying, sad and depressed because she couldn't find her dad, which was Daru. So she'll never know. And only we'll know that. Like Tenoji said, his house is closer than expected. We take the train to the next station, Okachimachi, and then walk for about 5 minutes to a quiet residential area. This old one-story house is where Suzaha once lived. That's a nice little house. Kind of small with him and his daughter, though. I walk up to the front of the house and there I see a familiar sight. Suzaha's bicycle. For a moment I can see her there, squatting beside the bicycle. But the mountain bike Suzaha rode to the Brontu workshop was shiny and new. Now it's old and covered in rust.
その自転車は、すずさんがすっげえ大事にしてたんだよ。晩年は自分で乗ることはなかったけどな。それでも週に一度はフレームを磨いてた。
Aww.
処分することもできなくて、結局10年もそこに置いたままだ。俺もできるだけ整備はしてるんだが、さすがに錆が目立ってきてるな。
I gently put my hand on the seat. It's warm from sitting out in the sun. I suppose that for the few days Suzuha was in Akiba, this bicycle existed in two places at the same time. The house isn't a messy inside as I expected, considering the state of the Brontu workshop. I guess the chipmunk keeps the place clean. A wave of nausea hits me as I recall what Nei did at Ochanu Mizu Station, but I tell myself that was just an accident. Besides, that incident has already been undone. Tennoji Nei has done nothing wrong. Next to the living room is a child's room. There's a child's study desk and a red backpack on the floor. Nei isn't here, which reminds me Tennoji's daughter visits the workshop often, but not once have I seen his wife. He couldn't have married Suzuha, could he? I mean, she should have been a lot older than him when they met. But as they say, love knows no bounds. I wonder what really happened. I don't know how I'd feel if those two were married. That would mean Daru's Tennoji's father-in-law. Actually, that would be kinda interesting. I turned to the Buddhist altar to pay my respects to Suzuha. There's no picture of her, so there's no way to know what Hashida Suzuha looked like at the age of 44. I make an offering of incense to her, then look around the house again. This is the house Suzuha lived in after leaping to 1975.
俺とすずさんは最初いわゆるお隣さんだったんだよ。
For some reason, Tennoji offers me a beer. When I decline, he shakes his head and starts drinking it himself.
俺はヨーロッパ生まれのヨーロッパ育ちでな。
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
は？それはギャグですか？
んだよてめえ。俺は英語もフランス語もペラペラだぞこら。
He really doesn't look like someone who lived abroad. I guess he can't judge a book by its cover.
両親が死んで15年ぐらい前に日本に帰ってきたんだよ。つっても俺にとっては生まれて初めての日本だった。この国について何にも知らねえ俺の面倒を見てくれたのが隣に一人で住んでたすずさんだったってわけだな。
That's sweet. Alright, now's my chance. If I'm gonna ask, it's now or never.
結婚を？
あ？結婚？
すずさんと。
アホか。
Phew. I knew she never married a guy like him.
あの人は随分ストイックに生きてたよ。人付き合いもあまりなかったみたいだ。けどな、俺にはよくしてくれた。ここに越してきて1年ぐらい経った時、俺の家が火事で全焼してな。まあ、俺のタバコの不始末が原因だから自業自得なんだが。
Oh.
その時に全財産なくした俺をこの家で下宿させてくれたんだ。
That's really sweet of her, actually.
それだけじゃねえ。工房のあるあの大檜山ビルな。あれもともとすずさんの持ち物だったんだぞ。それを格安で譲ってもらったんだ。おかげで俺はブラウン管工房を構えることができたってわけだ。あの人は俺の恩人だよ。ある時、なんだって縁もゆかりもねえのにこんなによくしてくれるんですかって聞いたことがあんだが、そしたらあの人は笑ってこう答えたよ。巡り巡って人は誰かに親身にしてもらうことになってる。だから君もいずれ誰かに親身にしてあげなさいってな。
Aw.
なんだか不思議な人だったぜ。預言者みたいにこれから起きる出来事をピタリピタリと言い当てたりしてな。
So she had all her memory this time, Suzuha. That was probably her way of repaying Tennoji for looking after her, even if it was just for 10 days. And so it came full circle.
しかし世間ってのは狭いな。あの人のことを知ってる人間がこんな近いところにいたとは。そうだ、ちょっと待ってろ。
The IBN 5100. Tennoji goes into the child's room next door, then returns and places an object on the table.
Huh?
Oh, it's Suzuha's divergence meter. Before the world line changed, it was in the lab. But on this world line, Suzuha brought the meter with her to 1975. I guess that makes sense. It's been in this house for 35 years. The tubes read 0.4. Divergence has changed, just like Suzuha said. This proves that the magic eye, Reading Steiner, does indeed allow me to perceive changes to the world line. But what does 0.4 mean? I recall what Suzuha said.
メーターの数値が 1% を超えたとき、君はベータ世界線にたどり着いたことになる。
Does that mean I'm still on the Alpha world line? Sorry, I'm just checking if I'm missing anything or not.
それ何の数字を表してるかわかるか？俺にはさっぱりわからなくてな。この10年その数字からピクリとも変わりゃしねえ。ただすずさんは病床からいつもこのメーターを眺めてた。上ごとのようにつぶやいてたよ。この数字は変わる前なのかな、変わった後なのかな、私は変えられたのかな。そんな風に一日に何回もな。見てて痛々しいほどだった。
I touched the device. Suzuha. In my heart, I reach out to the girl who died 10 years ago, to the girl who will be born 7 years from now, to the girl who crossed time to save the future. Suzuha. Thanks to you, Mayuri is safe. Divergence has changed, but we haven't yet reached your ultimate goal. 1% divergence. Once that is achieved, the future you wished for will become reality. I will carry on your fight, Suzuha. I promise. Suddenly I realize that I'm crying. Tanoji stares at me for a moment, then puts his giant hand on my shoulder. Mary comes out of the ticket gate and walks up to me with a leisurely stride.
まさかね、本当に駅まで迎えに来てくれるなんて思わなかった。
I guess the question is it worth it to save her, you know?
人質に逃げられては困るからな。
うん、困るよね。それでね、マユシーはとっても嬉しいよ。
I don't quite understand, but whatever. Mary flashes a carefree smile, then walks ahead of me, almost skipping.
ねえ、その抱えてる荷物って何？
ミスター・ブラウンから譲ってもらったんだ。世界線の数値を測ることのできる大パーツなんだぞ。
へえ、なんだかすごそうだね。でも世界線の数値って？
I smile weirdly.
ユリは本当にバカだな。
What am I doing? After I left Tanoji's house, I called Mayuri to ask when she would arrive in Akiba, then I went to the station to pick her up. Anxiety still smolders in my heart. We managed to survive Friday the 13th, the worst day of my life, but that doesn't guarantee our safety forever. Oh, I did think of something though. So, I was thinking about how it ended with Suzuha, and one question was who's FB, right? Weird to put this at the 30-minute mark, I know, but you know, whatever. And Mocha mentioned an FB as well, so I'm thinking this Fubuki-chan that Mayuri knows is somehow behind CERN or whatever. FB Fubuki, that's just my guess. We'll see. But I want to put that theory out there before I forgot it. So yeah. It's entirely possible for Mocha to attack now on the afternoon of the 14th. Maybe I'm being overprotective, but I still can't shake the image of Mayuri's death from my mind. I don't even want to have to go through that again. But now we got more days to play around with.
例えばの話だが、コミマが終わるまで秋葉に来るのはやめた方がいいのではないか。
No response. I look to the side.
いない。
Panicked, I scan the area and catch sight of her wandering toward a newly opened shaved ice stand. Nice. That ditch. Can't she tell how worried I am? Shaved ice is so good.
岡部って尽くすタイプなのね。
Kirisu's glaring at me with an iced coffee in her hand. We're in the lab, which appears to have become her second home.
何がだ?
I'm sitting at the computer searching for intel on the IBN 5100 via @channel. I still don't know where it is. I went to Yanabashi's shrine this morning, but alas, it wasn't there. Suzuha promised to get to one of us somehow. Her gift is from 1975. You know what I think I'm going to do? Actually, this might be controversial. I wish I could delete the saves. We're going to keep chapter 2, but if I start saving up here, we know this is the divergent line. And then when we have the choice down here, we'll maybe make the line. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Suzuha promised to get us Suzuha promised to get one to us somehow, her gift to us from 1975. Without it, we can't hack into CERN's database, meaning we can't achieve divergence over 1%.
あんたがマユリをお姫様扱いし始めた件について。
Oh.
今日は駅までお迎えに上がって。お昼ご飯は毒味までして。ここまでは手をつないで歩いてきたとか。
How do you know?
あのね、マユシーはオカリンに愛されちゃってるね。
Did she have to tell Kirisu of all people? Mary looked so carefree as she stuffs her cheeks with takoyaki. I'm pretty sure she's smiling not because of my love, but because of the takoyaki's deliciousness. Typical Mayuri. But seriously, did you have to tell Kirisu?
で、実際のところどうなんだ?
Jealous?
とは?
前から不思議だったのよね。あんたたちって付き合ってるの?
Oh.
そう見えるのか?
それは
Just what sort of delusions does this girl have?
あのね、オカリンとマユシーは小さい頃からずっとお友達なんだよ。
I didn't understand that.
じゃあ付き合ってないんだ。まあ誰も岡部みたいな変人と付き合おうとは思わないし、当然よね。
クリスティーナよ、お前には失望したぞ。
は？何よいきなり。
俺は気づいてしまったのだよ。お前の本質にな。恋の話になると途端に食いつき方が変わる。そんなお前はスイーツかっこ笑いに他ならない。恋の話を恋バナと読んでしまうお年頃だな。少子お花畑の持ち主をこの法院京馬と我がラボは求めていないぞ。
It feels strange to be spewing this Chunibyo nonsense again after what I've been through. Is my innocence lost forever?
マッドサイエンティストかっこ自称の中二病患者が何言ってやがりますか?
It's been a long time since I argued with Kirisu like this too. The thought brings a sudden pang of loneliness. After failing to save Mayuri, I sought help from this genius girl. Even though her words were at a time harsh, she supported and encouraged me to the end. But now all of that has vanished along with the time we spent with Suzuha. Thank you for your help, Kirisu. I silently give her my sincere gratitude. I finished typing on the X68000 keyboard and sigh, then turned to the divergence meter sitting on the shelf. Display reads 0.4. What does that mean?
世界の構造はより糸みたいなものなの。 いくつもの可能性世界線が重ね合わせの状態になってて、常に無限個に枝分かれしてってるわけ。メーターの数値が 1% を超えた時、君はベータ世界線にたどり着いたことになる。
I guess now we gotta deal with like all the effects of time leap and stuff like that, and the D-mails and the toll it's gonna take on our body. What I assume anyway. Very interesting.
アトラクタフィールドアルファの範囲外、ベータ世界線へ到達すれば収束する結果も変わる。そう、 1% を突破さえできたら椎名真由里は助けられるっていうこと。
Then does that mean I haven't saved her yet? Divergence is still less than 1%. Is the world still converging on Mayuri's death? No, it can't be. It can't be. I mean, nothing happened yesterday. Mayuri's here safe and sound, so nothing will happen to her, nothing. I want to believe that, but the doubt within my heart is growing thick and black. I can hardly think about anything else now. No matter how hard I stare at it, the number on the meter doesn't change a digit. So far, reading Steiner has only activated after we sent past changing D-mails. What about when I time leapt? The vertigo I feel when I time leap might be caused by reading Steiner. Or maybe it's just a side effect of the memory transfer. It's impossible to know. In any case, I prepared for the worst. I've already set the time leap machine timer to send my memories 3 hours into the past. And with Daru's help, I found a remote for this 42-inch CRT downstairs. Nice. Our previous phone wave named subject to change experiments made a hole in the floor. Instead of fixing the hole, I made it bigger. The 42-inch CRT is right under the hole, so if I point the remote at the hole and press the power button, the TV turns on. Now, should things go wrong, I can time leap at a moment's notice. And I also have Future Gadgets number 4, Mod Snake on hand in case of an emergency.
Okabe,
Kiryu enters the development room.
タイムリープマシーンの実験はしないんじゃなかったの？
もしもの時のためだ。
もしもって？
Uh-oh. I don't want to answer that. I keep praying that my fears will not be realized. It's okay, everything will be okay. They didn't attack yesterday, so they won't attack today. At the very least, we've changed Mayuri's fate. But still, I can't help but pray. Please let Mayuri be safe. Please don't let anything happen. My prayers go unanswered. Uh-oh. FBI, open up. Oh no! Oh no, oh no, I was joking. The door slams open. 5 men burst into the lab. I recognize them, the Rounders. They aim their guns at us, I freeze. Despair seizes my heart, my worst fears have come true. It's happening exactly the same as before. Only this time Suza isn't here to save us. Even the dark-skinned man's words are the same. Eventually, the unpleasant clack of heels echoes down the hallway.
萌香さん、これって。
タイムマシンを回収させてもらう。
I suppress my terror and grab Mayuri's arm. The crew cut man says something he hasn't before.
牧瀬クリス、岡部倫太郎、橋田至、3名については我々と一緒に来てもらう。抵抗は許されない。とにかく来て。あなたたちに逃げ場はないわ。私たちの仲間はすでに秋葉原中に散らばっている。
What do I do? Should I use my concealed mod snake now? Use it and then time leap? But Mayuri hasn't been killed yet. There's a chance he might not be killed on this world line. The crew cut man points his gun at me. My heartbeat jumps up. Cold sweat breaks out all over my body. I've only raised my left. I have to use it. I swallow my fear and activate Mod Snake. White smoke instantly fills the room, rendering it impossible to see. The Rounders won't be able to aim through this. I have to time leap while it lasts. I grab Mayuri's hand and fumble through the smoke towards the development room. Dang! I hear the sound of guns firing wildly behind me. Suddenly, Mayuri's arms get heavy. I trip forward and land on my face. Our hands were separated in the fall. Oh. I grope around and soon find her slender hand. Mayuri's feeble whisper reaches my ears. Was she hit? The rounder's blind shot hit Mayuri? Mayuri's voice quickly fades away. Strength drains from her fingers. But Mayuri doesn't answer. I'm sorry, Mayuri. Once again, I failed to save you. I thought I'd succeed, but I was wrong. I hear my teeth grinding in my head. I hear Kirisu and Daru screaming as the gunfire continues. A sharp pain flares at the top of my head. I press down on it with my hand and it comes away soaked with blood. I shouldn't be laughing, but you know, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. It feels like someone took a saw to my skull. My ears are ringing. I stumble, I can't stand up straight. Hurry, I have to time leap. This can't be good. I squeeze Mayuri's limp hand one last time, then crawl to the development room, fumbled for the headgear and put it on. I point the remote at the hole and press the power button. The TV turns on downstairs. I can hear people laughing on the screen.
Target A, Target C, 確保.
That's kind of sad. Darn. I clench my fist in frustration. The time leap machine is already activated. Also, the messed up part that we learn is that things continue on after this, so people still suffer. They're still forced to do time machine stuff, deal with the deaths of 2 people, everything like that. The discharge phenomenon is starting. The floor begins to shake. Once again, I leap to the past. Three hours ago, great idea. The world collapses, then reforms. Once again, I feel the odd numbness behind my eyes. The pain at the top of my head is gone. I wipe the sweat off my brow and look around. I can't see Maud Snake's vapor anymore, the air is clear. Kirisu is reading a western book like usual. Mayuri is playing a handheld game while eating a banana. Daru isn't here, I recall he said he was going out somewhere. Quickly swallow my words. When I wave my hand no, Mayuri tilts her head quizzically, then goes back to her game. I sink into the sofa and close my eyes. I grit my teeth, trying my hardest to hold back the urge to scream in frustration. I have to think. I erased our memories with Suza, I changed the world line, but it wasn't enough. The divergence meter still reads 0.4. How do I get above 1%? Wait, if I try to solve the problem alone, I'll just end the same way. I need to consult Kirisu. Okay, we're learning. I lead her out of the lab. We sit on the bench in front of the building. Suza's bicycle is still absent.
何なの? 私の名前を普通に呼ぶなんて普通じゃないの.
Kirisu frowns at her own words.
変な日本語.
助けてくれ。
これはびっくり。まさかあんたの口からそんな言葉が出るなんて熱でもあるんじゃない?
Our relationship is purely professional. She's my assistant, nothing more. Jealous you want to go on a date with me?
I
nod.
お前は どこまで知っている？
どこまでって何を？
鈴葉がジョン・タイターだったことは。
Zero. Kusu gives me a blank stare.
その発想はなかったわ。
When we prevented Suza from leaving on August 9th, she ended up staying until August 13th. But that outcome was changed by my last email. What happened during those 4 days on this world line?
タイムリープマシンは完成したか？
何言ってんの？昨日私が徹夜して完成させたでしょ。岡部はいつから飛んできたんだ？
今日の夜8時頃だ。
It looks like I'll have to explain everything all over again. I want to go on a date. Would you rather go to Sanbo or Kitchenjiro? Wow. Let's go. I told her about Mayuri's many deaths and about what happened with Suza and Mocha. I also gave a summary of what Suza told me about the structure of the universe. Kurisu does not appear to doubt my story. You want your own fork.
IBN5100 が手元に戻ってくれば勝ちっていうことになる。
Kurisu sums up what I told her.
あくまで予測だけど、天音さんの話を逆の視点から考えてみればいい。
Oh?
IBN5100 を岡部が手に入れて、セルンにあるデータを消すその瞬間が分岐の臨界点なんだと思う。おそらくその瞬間、ダイバージェンスは 1% オーバーに達するはず。
問題は IBN5100 が今はどこにあるかだ。
岡部は一度 IBN5100 を手に入れている。あんたの記憶が妄想じゃなければな。その世界線へもう一度行けることができれば、必然的に手元に戻ってくるんじゃない？
Get back to the world line? Oh my gosh. How is that possible?
IBN5100 はある時を境にラボから忽然と姿を消した。
前にそのことで騒いでたわね。あの時は岡部がついに妄想と現実の区別がつかなくなったかと思って、心の中で「オーゴッド」ってつぶやいてた。
アメリカかぶれめ、何がオーゴッドだ。クリスチャンはクリスチャンとでも言いたいのか。
That's kind of funny. Kursu looks at me in disdain as soon as those words leave my lips.
誰がうまいこと言えと言った？
俺も口に出してから後悔した。
This is no time for puns.
それでクリスティーナ、お前はこう言いたいんだな。俺たちが生じさせてしまった世界の歪み、すなわちこれまでに世界線を変動させた全ての
Poor Luca.
IBN5100 を俺が柳林神社で見つけた世界線へと戻ることができると。
From what I've experienced so far, I'm confident that the IBN 5100's disappearance from the lab wasn't due to theft. After all, I was sleeping at the lab, and whenever I wasn't around, another lab mem was. The lab was occupied every hour of the day. It has to be what Mocha did with her D-mail. It would have been impossible for someone to steal that heavy computer without anyone noticing. It makes more sense to assume that a D-mail caused us to diverge from the world line where I found the IBN 5100.
あくまで仮説だけど、私はあんたの説明だけをもとに判断しているから。もしあんたが事実誤認をしていたり、私を騙そうとしていたり、妄想を垂れ流していた場合は、この仮説はあっけなく破綻する。
The assistant of mine has no confidence in me at all.
この仮説を盲目的に信じてもらっても困る。保険はいくつかあるとはいえ、迂闊な行動をとってもしも罪になってしまったら、マユリを二度と助けられなくなるんだから。
I know that. I'd ask Suzuha's opinion too if she were here, but on this world line, she traveled to 1975 on the night of August 9th. There's no way I can speak to her now.
どうして IBN5100 が消えたのか。これまでに送った D メールの中のどれが IBN5100 の消えた原因なのか。それを突き止めるのが 解を導くための近道ね。
わからないのはマユリの死ぬタイミングがちょうど24時間ずれたことだ。
確かに気になるな。ダイバージェンスが変わったことが関係してるのかな。バタフライエフェクトの可能性がある。それならほんの些細な原因でも結果には大きな誤差が生じる。とにかく慎重な行動が大切。不用意なことはしない方がいい。例えば一番危険なのはあんたが死ぬこと。
True.
世界線を越えて記憶を継続できるのはおそらく岡部だけだから。あんたが死んだらまゆりも助けられなくなると思いなさい。絶対に死なないで。
もしかして心配してくれているのか。
何それ、誰得。そんなわけないでしょ。勘違いするな。つまり死ぬなって言ったのはあんたが貴重な被験者だからよ。そうなの。世界線云々はともかく、あんたのその何度もタイムリープしていながら記憶が継続してる脳ってのは脳科学史を塗り替えるくらい貴重なサンプルであって、あんたの脳をマッピングして一体何がどうなってるのか確かめたい気分よ。だから引き続き実験をガンガンやってくれると私としても助かるわけ。タイムリープマシンはいわば私の研究の成果でもあるんだから。
落ち着け。
Kirsu turns away with a sour expression. This assistant of mine can be difficult sometimes. Anyway, I consider her hypothesis in order to return to the world line, where I found the IBN 5100 at Yanabashi Shrine. We need to cancel all the D-mails we sent so far. The theory is sound and I've got nothing else to go on. I check the clock, it's 6:42. Only 1 hour until Mocha's raid. I decide to time leap once more to the afternoon of the 13th, just before the time leap machine is completed.
クリスティーナ、お前の案を試してみる。
そう。
I take Kirsu's hand and grasp it firmly.
お前には何度も助けられているな。いつもすまない。
謝るのバカ。調子狂うでしょ。そもそも前にあんたを助けたことなんて私はちっとも覚えてないのよ。どう責任取ってくれるの？
Why is she getting mad at me? I just don't understand her.
できれば覚えておきたかった。そうすればあんたの情けない姿をネタにいつでもブギャーってできたから。
お前は実に性格が悪いな。
あんたが言うな。
With that, I leapt 28 hours into the past. Friday the 13th. Time leap complete. I'm standing in the lab as usual. My brain feels like it's been pinched. I endure the pain as I check my watch. It's 1:47 p.m. Kirsu's almost done with the time leap machine and Mayuri's almost done with Luca's costume. They should both be done in about 10 minutes. I leave the lab and sit on the bench in front of the brown tube workshop. Let's go over the plan. Cancel all the D-mails that have changed the past so far. Of course, that includes D-mails sent by people other than me. Specifically, I'm only concerned with the D-mails that triggered reading Steiner. We sent several of them as experiments. For example, Operation Urge Stage 2, the Lotto 6 experiment involved one such D-mail. The real problem is what other people sent. Mary and Kirsu haven't sent any D-mails. Daru sent his past self a strategy to win the Paris Cup, but reading Steiner didn't activate, so Divergence must not have changed. That leaves 3 D-mails to deal with, those sent by Mocha, Luca, and Ferris. The most problematic one is the one Ferris sent, which is alone, which is also the most recent. I have no idea what it said, so I don't know how to cancel it. Ferris's D-mail caused a dramatic change to Akiba. All the Moe stores disappeared. That's my only hint. I'm the only one who remembers how things were before the change, so I won't get any answers from Ferris even if I ask her directly. But still, I have to at least try. I should get in touch with her. Well, wouldn't you just send a D-mail to absolutely no condition, don't allow Ferris to use D-mail? Meeting face to face would be best, but McQueen doesn't exist on this world line, meaning I have to go to that high class apartment complex. I should try contacting Ferris first. I decide to call her. Goodbye, part-time warrior. The ringtone echoes in my ear. It's not connecting. I stab the end button and open up my mailbox. I'll write Ferris a mail. Oops. Just give it to her straight. I send it. Afterward, I sit and stare at the screen waiting. I've already tried sending 3 mails and calling 4 or 5 times, but 30 minutes pass without a single response. Unable to hide my frustration, I storm off towards Ferris's apartment. I arrive at the tall apartment building soaked in sweat. I've been running an awful lot lately. It's made me realize how out of shape I am. I wish I worked out more. This complex has an automatic lock, so I have to call up from the lobby intercom. I enter the number for Ferris's apartment and McMahon's calm voice soon replies. Judging by the voice, it's not Ferris's dad, but a butler.
岡部と言います。フェイリーじゃなくてルミホさんにお会いしたいんですが。
残念ながらお嬢様はただいまこちらにはいらっしゃいません。
じゃあ今どこに？
それについてはお答えできません。あなた様がお嬢様にとって好ましくない人物であるという可能性もありますので。
You know what? Good butler.
ここには遊びに来てますよ。
おっしゃる通りでございますが、やはり私からはお嬢様の居場所はお教えできません。お嬢様に直接ご連絡をお願いいたします。
He's obviously trying to end the conversation, so I panic to get the last word in.
待ってください。フェイリスと大至急連絡を取りたいんですけど、電話してもメールしても繋がらないんですよ。
では、お時間をお改めください。
Frustrated by this new turn of events, my anger threatens to boil over. Darn inflexible geezer. I leave the lobby. McQueen plus Nian Square doesn't exist on this world line. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. Ferris isn't responding to my calls or emails either. Where could she be? Underneath the incandescent heat of the sun, I suddenly get an idea. Daru, if anyone knows where Ferris is, it'll be that stalker of hers. It's awfully noisy on the other end of the phone, but I don't care about that.
ダリオ、フェイリスが今どこにいるか心当たりはないか？
フェイリスタン
？1秒でも早く連絡を取りたいのだ。
今すぐは無理じゃね？
場所さえ教えてくれればいい。フェイリスの行きそうな場所ぐらいお前なら完璧に把握しているだろ
う。どこにいるかなら知ってるよ。
どこだ？どこにいる？
UPX の会場。
UPX. I look up. I'm standing right in front of UPX.
会場とはなんだ？
今日はライネット AB グラちゃんの決勝戦なわけだが。
ライネット AB グラちゃん？
ライネットアクセスバトラーズグランドチャンピオンシップの略だろう、上皇。日本中のライネッターが参加してる大会の決勝戦だお。そこにフェイリスタンが出場してる。ちなみにフェイリスタンは今年冬のグラちゃんの優勝者でもあるんで、ディフェンディングチャンピオン。これ豆知識な。
決勝戦
で、僕は今まさにそれを会場で観戦中。つうか今まさにフェイリスタンがデュエル中なわけだが。
So that's why.
今から行く。何階だ？
オカリン、チケット持ってんの？
持っていないが、なんとかなるだろう。
それ無理。 警備がめっちゃ厳重だし、テロ予告まがいの書き込みがアットちゃんにあったらしくてさ、きっとオカリンは入れないわな。
それなら外に出てきてくれ。俺も UPX の前にお前のチケットを貸してほしい。
だが断る。
だがシュ
4時までには終わるから出待ちしてれば会えんじゃね。
おい、誰
You know what? I don't blame him. That inflexible guy. Looks like I don't have a choice. All I can do is wait, like Daru suggested. And on that note, ooh, almost saved on the wrong one. Took me 33 hours to reach chapter 6, but that is the end of Steins Gate, episode 29. I almost said chapter. If you like videos like this and want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help out the channel. Let me know what you want to see next. And as always, thank you for watching. I've been Boog the Goob. May God bless you, and whoosh, we're back, baby. Steins Gate.